Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're putting on our detective hats to crack the case of a really specific and honestly pretty serious warning light on your dashboard. Chevrolet's diagnostic trouble code 056171. This is a critical safety alert you absolutely do not want to ignore. So we're going to figure out exactly what it means and, more importantly, what you can do about it. So picture this. You're just driving along, minding your own business, and bam, a new, unfamiliar light pops up on your dashboard. We've all been there, right? It's that universal sinking feeling. Your car is definitely trying to send you an urgent message, but it's speaking in this weird language of codes and symbols. So what is your car trying to tell you? Well, it's not random, that's for sure. It's a very specific signal about a very specific problem. You can think of it like your car raising a big red flag. And today, we're going to translate exactly what that flag means for your safety systems. The culprit behind that warning light often has a name. And in this case, it's code C056171. Yeah, it sounds super technical, I know, but trust me, we're about to break it down so you can understand exactly what's happening under the hood. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Code C0561 means there's a serious communication breakdown. You've got this thing called the Electronic Brake Control Module, or EBCM for short. It's basically the brain of your entire braking system. And right now, that brain has lost contact with another part of the car. When that happens, when the brain gets confused, it does the only safe thing it can. It defaults to a safe mode to prevent any bigger problems. But here's the catch with safe mode. It means some of your car's most important safety features are now completely offline. I'm talking about your anti-lock brakes, your traction control, and your stability system. You know, the very systems that keep you from skidding out during a hard stop or on a slippery road. Losing them? That's a major, major safety concern. But here's where our detective work really kicks in. See that main code, C0561? It's just the headline. The real story, the reason why this is all happening, is revealed by another, more specific code that comes with it. These are our 4 prime suspects, and each one points to a totally different root cause. So here's our lineup. We've got the learning failure, the overheating solenoid, the stuck motor, and the garbled message. Each one of these represents a unique failure. And to solve this case, we need to investigate every single one of them. All right, it is time to open the case file on each of our suspects. We're going to look at the specific cause, the motive, if you will, and then the clues that help a mechanic pinpoint exactly where the problem is coming from. First up in the interrogation room, suspect number 1, DTC 05614B. This one is often called the learning failure. And it's all about your car's computer system not being able to properly learn or calibrate a part. So what triggers this code? It's because a module's learning process just failed. And the biggest clue here, this almost always pops up right after a new component has been installed. It's kind of like the system got a new team member, but nobody introduced them or showed them the ropes. Let's bring in our second suspect, DTC 056154, the overheating solenoid. This one, as you probably guessed, is all about heat. A solenoid in your brake system is like a tiny computer-controlled gatekeeper that opens and closes to manage the flow of brake fluid. The cause here is pretty straightforward. One of those little solenoids just got way too hot. But why? Well, the clue is that your ABS or traction control system was working overtime for more than 45 seconds straight. This can happen if you're, say, driving in deep snow or mud, or maybe had to brake really hard for a long time. The system just got overworked and overheated. Suspect number 3 points to a totally different kind of problem, a mechanical one, DTC C056159, also known as the stuck motor. This tells us there's a failure in the ABS motor itself, not a communication issue, but a physical one. So in this case, the motor that drives the whole ABS system ran for over a minute straight when it absolutely shouldn't have. And what could cause that? Well, there are few potential triggers. Pumping the brakes over and over, having air in the brake lines from a bad service job, or even a hydraulic fluid leak can all trick that motor into running continuously until it just gives up. And that brings us to our final group of suspects. These codes, 71 through 75, take us right back to the original problem we talked about at the beginning, the garbled message. This is your classic communication error, plain and simple. The brake system's brain, the EBCM, just isn't getting a clear message. The clue points straight to the wiring. A broken connection or some kind of electronic interference is scrambling the signal. Think of it like a really bad phone connection with a ton of static. Okay, so we've identified all the suspects and we've analyzed the evidence. Now, for the most important part, right? What are the solutions? Let's take a look inside the mechanics toolkit for how to fix each of these specific problems. This chart lays it all out pretty clearly. For the learning failure, the fix is usually reprogramming or maybe replacing the part. For that overheating solenoid, it's all about running tests to find the exact faulty component. For the stuck motor, you gotta fix the root cause, whether that's bleeding the brakes or finding and fixing a leak. And for that garbled message, well, the job is to hunt down that bad wire and fix the broken line of communication. And all of that brings us to the single most important piece of advice. Look, while we've definitely demystified the problem, the source material is crystal clear on this. This is a complex issue. The final, and really the only move here, is to get your vehicle to an experienced mechanic who has the right tools and the know-how to properly diagnose and fix it for good. So what's the takeaway? You're no longer just a driver staring at a mysterious warning light. You're an informed owner now. You understand the suspects, you know the clues, and you can have a much clearer, much more intelligent conversation with your mechanic. Now that you're armed with this knowledge, you can take that next step with total confidence.